In a world yearning for spiritual leadership, moral clarity, and modern reform, one man stands at the crossroads of tradition and transformation: Pope Leo XIV. Known for his humility, intellect, and bold vision for the Catholic Church, he has once again captured global attention with a powerful act, appointing the first American bishop of his papacy. And not just anywhere, but in the vibrant, multicultural heart of San Diego. This isn't just another ecclesiastical appointment. This is a signal, a statement, a vision of where Pope Leo XIV wants to lead the Church in America. But why San Diego? Why now? And who is the man chosen to carry out this divine assignment? Before we explore San Diego and the bishop now at its spiritual helm, we must first understand the Pope behind the decision. Born as Cardinal Giovanni Maria Ferretti, Pope Leo XIV ascended to the papacy at a time of immense cultural, political, and spiritual tension. The world demanded change. The faithful cried for revival. And the Church needed a shepherd who could bridge the past and the future. Catholic historian Leo XIV isn't afraid to touch the untouchable. He walks into controversy with clarity and walks out with compassion. Religious scholar. He has shown an unusual willingness to localize the Church, making global decisions that honor regional cultures, especially in places like Latin America and now, the United States. To grasp the weight of this San Diego appointment, we must confront the reality: the Catholic Church in America has been losing influence. From coast to coast, many churches have struggled to retain their congregations. Scandals, generational divides, and cultural shifts have left American Catholics feeling disoriented, even abandoned. Yet amid the noise, San Diego stands out. Unlike other dioceses where division festers, San Diego's Catholic community has slowly but steadily grown stronger, thanks to its unique blend of cultures, openness, and young population. It's a diocese with both challenges and opportunities, ripe for a bold new chapter. When Bishop Robert McElroy was elevated to cardinal, he left behind a legacy of social justice advocacy and bold political statements. His departure left a vacuum, and many wondered, who would fill those shoes? Would the Vatican play it safe? Or would they appoint a reformer? For over a year, speculation ran wild. Names surfaced, then disappeared. Insiders whispered about an American-born African priest, a Hispanic scholar, even a former missionary in Asia. But no one predicted what would happen next. On a bright morning in Rome, the announcement came. Pope Leo XIV had appointed Father Mateo Delgado, a 44-year-old Mexican-American priest from Los Angeles, to be the next bishop of San Diego. History is being made today as Pope Leo XIV names Father Mateo Delgado, the youngest bishop to lead a major American diocese in over a century. I've followed Father Mateo for years. He's compassionate, progressive, and incredibly rooted in the people. Born to immigrant parents in East LA, Mateo Delgado grew up witnessing both poverty and faith firsthand. His mother was a teacher, his father a janitor at a local parish. From a young age, Mateo showed signs of spiritual leadership, often organizing youth prayers and leading discussions on justice and compassion. Professor. He wasn't the loudest in class, but he had presence. A deep presence. When Mateo spoke, people listened, not because he demanded attention, but because he embodied truth. In Father Mateo, I see the heart of the American people, resilient, compassionate, diverse, and faithful. May his service in San Diego become a mirror of the unity the Church strives for. Pope Leo's decision goes beyond pastoral needs. It reflects a prophetic gesture, a church that listens to its margins, prioritizes the young and diverse, and places leadership in the hands of those who walk with the people, not above them. Thousands gathered. People from all over Southern California. Pilgrims from Mexico. Cardinals from Rome. Youth choirs filled the space with gospel harmonies. Indigenous dancers offered a ceremonial blessing. It was unlike any installation the diocese had ever seen. "This is not a victory for me, it's a call to serve. I am here to walk with you, suffer with you, grow with you." Tears flowed. Applause erupted. Even those who had left the church found themselves moved by what felt like a revival in motion. The appointment of Bishop Matteo Delgado isn't just a ceremonial milestone. It's a turning point. A declaration that the Church is ready to listen more, walk humbly, and evolve without losing its soul. But with this divine promotion comes a set of challenges most wouldn't dare accept. Matteo Delgado isn't inheriting a stable seat, he's walking into a minefield of politics, culture wars, and spiritual fatigue. San Diego's Catholic population is diverse, ethnically, politically, spiritually. Some long for the return to traditional Latin masses. Others advocate for LGBTQ+ inclusion, women in leadership, and broader ecumenical dialogue. Between those polar opposites stand millions of ordinary Catholics, hungry for hope and stability. Parishioner interview. One Sunday we have a homily on climate change. The next, it's all fire and brimstone. We need balance, and someone who understands all of us. Bishop Delgado must now shepherd a flock that speaks in many tongues, not just linguistically, but ideologically. As a parish priest, Matteo was known for unconventional yet meaningful acts of service. He held confession in barbershops, celebrated Mass at skate parks, organized retreats in the desert with former gang members. To many young people, he didn't look like a traditional priest, he looked like someone who saw them. Youth leader. He never tried to impress us with scripture quotes. He lived them. When my brother got shot, Father Matteo sat with us in the hospital for hours. No camera, no agenda, just love. It's easy to see Bishop Delgado's appointment as a one-off decision. But to those studying the Pope closely, it's part of a bigger strategy. Decentralization through localization. Pope Leo XIV understands that for the Church to thrive, it must adapt, not in doctrine, but in delivery. The Pope isn't just appointing leaders, he's crafting a living mosaic of the Church. Matteo represents the future of Catholic America, young, bilingual, empathetic, and deeply rooted in justice. This strategy echoes previous appointments made in Latin America, Africa, and Southeast Asia, where young bishops are being placed in urban centers to rebuild trust and reimagine leadership. God doesn't wait for us to be perfect before He calls us. He calls us because He knows the perfecting happens on the journey, together. His first few weeks as bishop were marked by listening sessions, multilingual homilies, and community dinners. He visited prisons, border shelters, and retirement homes. He launched a diocesan WhatsApp channel where parishioners could send in anonymous spiritual questions. Bishop Delgado's pastoral style is not hierarchical, it's horizontal. And people are noticing. But not everyone is pleased. Traditionalist groups have criticized the new bishop for his openness to dialogue with marginalized groups, including members of the LGBTQ+ community. Some conservative media outlets labeled him a political activist in clerical clothing. Bishop Delgado's appointment might be historic, but it risks watering down church teachings in favor of political correctness. Yet in response, Delgado remained calm. I didn't come to divide. I came to listen, and bring the fullness of the gospel to every corner of our diocese. What makes Delgado so unique is his accessibility. He's not tucked away in an ivory tower. He's in the neighborhoods. He's on social media. He's present. In just the first month, Bishop Delgado's office received over 10,000 letters, emails, and social messages, some from Catholics returning to the Church for the first time in decades. I left the Church after my divorce. But when I saw you speak at that shelter, I felt like God was welcoming me home again. Some speculate that Pope Leo XIV intentionally chose San Diego as a starting point for a series of similar appointments across the U.S., a testing ground for pastoral innovation in America. There's a symbolic rhythm to this. The West Coast is where the sun sets, and also where new light rises. The Pope chose San Diego not just for its demographics but for its symbolic power. Dioceses around the country are paying attention. Young clergy are inspired. Seminarians are reevaluating their role. Catholic media is buzzing with questions. Will Delgado's appointment influence the next cardinal choices? Is this the beginning of an American spiritual renewal? Can this model be replicated in polarized cities? Catholic podcaster. Delgado is more than a bishop, he's a prototype. And the Vatican knows it. I don't get why God would let so many people suffer. Neither do I. But I know God gave us each other to walk through the suffering and heal it. This was his genius. He didn't claim to have all the answers. But he asked the right questions. And he made people feel seen. Bishop Mateo Delgado's appointment by Pope Leo XIV has already shifted the air. But what happens next will determine whether this historic moment becomes a movement, or just a memory. Because for Delgado, the work has only just begun. Less than 3 months after his installation, Bishop Delgado presented his ambitious diocesan vision. The Church in Motion, a pastoral plan for 2025 and beyond. Key points of the plan. Launch of 30 new neighborhood-based small group ministries focused on youth, mental health, and family. Creation of a bilingual digital media studio for evangelization via TikTok, YouTube, and podcasts. Partnership with local universities to host monthly theology town halls. Reallocation of diocesan funds to support homeless outreach and immigrant services. He's not just preaching the gospel, he's engineering it into the fabric of everyday life. While Bishop Delgado takes the spotlight in San Diego, Pope Leo XIV remains watchful from Rome. He has not commented further on the appointment, allowing Delgado's actions to speak for themselves. But insiders report that this is classic Leo. Leo XIV doesn't micromanage. He appoints those who already carry his DNA. What you see in Delgado, service, humility, courage, is what the Pope wants the Church to reflect worldwide. This method, empowering local bishops with global implications, is reshaping the Church from the ground up. Barely 6 months into his role, Bishop Delgado approved a diocesan-wide pastoral directive, allowing priests to offer non-liturgical blessings to same-sex couples seeking spiritual support, carefully worded within church doctrine. This is not about redefining sacrament. It's about extending God's love, mercy, and presence to all his children. The backlash was swift. Traditionalist factions called for a Vatican review. But many others, including LGBTQ+ Catholics and their families, expressed relief, joy, and a long-awaited sense of belonging. What some saw as rebellion, others recognized as revival. And for Pope Leo XIV, who had already signaled openness to pastoral accompaniment, this was confirmation that his choice had wisdom beyond his years. Week after week, Bishop Delgado immersed himself in the peripheries of the diocese. He led outdoor stations of the cross through migrant shelters, celebrated Mass on Skid Row, held listening circles with abused survivors. He even began monthly live streams called Ask Your Bishop, where he candidly answered public questions. I'm not even Catholic, but I tune in every time. The way he talks? It's real. He's not preaching at you, he's journeying with you. Understanding that today's youth consume faith through pixels and swipes, Delgado assembled a team of young content creators. Their mission, to make theology viral. Their results: over 3 million views on their video series, Saints for Strugglers. Daily reels answering hot-button Catholic questions in 30 seconds or less. A Discord group for spiritual mentorship that gained 20,000 members in 8 weeks. Where others saw digital threats, Delgado saw an opportunity to evangelize the online agora, fulfilling the Pope's call to meet people where they scroll. From Nairobi to Naples, a pattern emerges. Pope Leo XIV is quietly building a global network of reform-minded bishops who embody pastoral care, theological depth, and cultural fluency. Delgado is just one node in a spiritual renaissance. Global Church Analyst. We're witnessing a strategic decentralization of charisma. Pope Leo is investing not in institutions, but in personalities, shepherds who inspire trust and authenticity. The very groups that once resisted his appointment, conservative laity, traditionalist priests, are now softening. I didn't understand him at first. But I sat down, listened, and saw the heart of a man in love with Christ and his people. In the end, it's not arguments that win hearts. It's presence. And Delgado's presence has become undeniable. Months into his appointment, Delgado received a personal letter from Pope Leo XIV. To my brother in Christ, Matteo. Your footsteps in San Diego echo in Rome. Lead boldly. Love gently. And never forget, the shepherd never walks alone. It wasn't just a blessing. It was a mandate. A quiet nod that the path forward, though narrow, is holy. The appointment of Bishop Matteo Delgado isn't just a turning point for San Diego. It's a blueprint for what Catholic leadership can look like in a post-pandemic, digitally connected, socially fractured world. His legacy may be young, but his impact is global. And as Pope Leo XIV continues appointing leaders who lead with humility and courage, the future of the Church may not lie in marble corridors, but in the streets, screens, and hearts of everyday people. San Diego was just the beginning. Because sometimes, when the world least expects it, the Spirit moves, and the Church rises.